Thing I was going to ask you about is Coach Norwood. I mean, when Coach Neon was considering this, he wanted to talk to you and make sure you were cool with it. You could have
Sure.
been like, I don't need some former DC guy breathing
Yeah.
down my neck. What was your thought when this was broached?
Well, I know about Coach Norwood. I know guys that know him. So the first thing I did was I reached out to people in the profession that knew him, and everybody said the same thing about him. It was all positive. Had a couple of conversations with him on the phone. I was excited about it. Once I spoke to him, once I talked to a couple of guys, his pedigree, obviously. I mean, he's forgotten more football than I know. So he's a great guy to have on staff. Tremendous coach, extremely humble. Adds to our room every day, and so I'm really grateful and thankful that he's part of the staff.
I was going to say, I'm guessing as a DC, you're not going to turn down an experienced person who knows the business.
Yeah, not unless I'm crazy. I mean, like I said, he adds to the room, and in that room, everybody's got a voice. At the end of the day, we got to make a decision. I've got to make that decision, whether they agree or disagree. But everybody's got a voice, and so he certainly adds to that room, no question.
Right. And then, I mean, obviously, he had told me when I interviewed him yesterday, there's no question. You're the DC. It's your defense. You do whatever. But his experience as a DC can't hurt. He can probably mention a few
Sure.
things that he may have done in the past. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got like 25 years of experience.
Absolutely. I mean, he's full of great ideas. There's certain things I lean on him for. He's got a lot of experience, and he's been doing it for a long time, and he's an excellent football coach.
But by the same token, you also coached secondary for a long time, so I'm sure there's some things. And he's learning your defense
Sure.
as we go. And that's what he mentioned. He said,
Yeah.
I'm leaning on Coach Newberry to make sure that I do what he wants back there.
Sure.
Back
I
end.
mean, we both coach secondary, and so we bounce ideas off of each other all the time. And there's some things some new things that he's brought to the table, and some things that I've done a little differently that we've kind of merged some ideas together. So, two heads are always better than one, especially when you got one like him.
The next topic I was going to bring up, I'm going to do a little feature on Diego. He was the striker playing behind Cromartie last year as a plebe and
Sure.
had good time and had a pretty decent season for a freshman.
Mhm.
Why did you think to move him inside? Why not keep him outside? I mean, obviously the
Yeah.
previous staff thought that's where he belonged.
Sure. Well, he's a guy we knew we had to get on the field. He's got tremendous skill set, and truthfully, Diego could play 4 or 5 different positions on defense for us.
Okay.
But to move him to Mike to be in the middle of the defense, as big and strong, as fast as he is, and then you don't want Cromartie and Diego at the same position. Right?
Right.
We're always trying to get our best
Two of
looking
your
guys
best
on the
players,
field. That's
right.
right. And I think he's a Mike. He could go play Raider and be a really good one, but he's a Mike.
And what do you, when you talk about a Mike and what Mike needs to do in your defense, what kind of things are we talking about? And does Diego fit to that?
Sure. You got to be smart. Got to get everybody lined up.
So he's calling signals.
Sure. Yeah. He sets the front. Right. He helps in the coverage part of things. So got to be smart. Got to be physical. Got to play fast. All those type things.
So the way it worked in Navy's previous 3-4 defense was just this true 3-4. Not you're more like 4-2-5. I think you've said.
Sure.
The inside linebackers were basically the tacklers. I mean, if you look at the list of leading tacklers, like 10 out of 11, it was the inside linebacker. On a rare occasion, it might be a safety.
Sure.
But is the inside linebacker a little bit different with your unit, with your system?
Yeah, maybe slightly. We're gonna walk our guys out of the box on occasion. In base we're a spill football team, so we're gonna run things down. So your linebackers should be your leading tacklers if you're playing good defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your overhang players and your linebackers, and so we're a little different. And we'll do some 4-2-5 stuff, but we're some 3-4 stuff too. So some of the things they did in the past, we do some similar type things. A little bit more multiple here.
And so has Diego lived up to what, when you moved him inside, you thought he was a good fit? Has he lived up to that so far?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's probably exceeded our expectations.
I wanted to ask you about your new position. I mean,
Yeah.
you played striker last year, you learned striker, and then all of a sudden you get moved. Were you disappointed?
Well, in high school, I actually played inside linebacker, and I feel like it's a little bit more comfortable for me,
Mhm.
just kind of going back to my roots and things like that. I was a little bit surprised being moved as a freshman to Raider, um, but I'm glad to kind of like go back to inside linebacker. I think it's a great fit for me personally. But
Well, and obviously, I mean, Coach Newberry just said that the reason they did it is they feel you're one of the better players. They want to get you on the field. They don't want you sitting behind Cromartie, not getting
Right.
a lot of reps. That had to be exciting that they thought you were a guy that, deserved to be in the mix.
Right, yeah, no, I definitely feel very blessed by the coaches for even considering me to be one of those starters and things like that, and they do want to try to work me in a little bit more, and I'm glad I did make the switch, but I couldn't have got there on my own. My position coach, Coach Volker, he's really coached me up very hard, and without him and even Coach Newberry being over him, there's no way I could have even been in this position. So it's really all to them.
Right. And yeah, you got to be pretty sturdy inside because you never know. You're going to sometimes take on some big offensive linemen. It's a little bit different than maybe what you did at Raider. I don't know. But, I mean, as a sophomore, do you feel you got the strength to hold up in there?
I think Coach Fitz did a really good job this summer preparing our body, and I think that I have a chance. You know, I'm not saying that I'm going to get the job done every single time, but I think I have a chance to be able to withstand like most of those blocks and things like that. And again, going back to what Coach Volker's done, he's been just so fundamental, helping me know what assignment, how to shed a block, how to take on them correctly, and just listening to him and honing in my skills will definitely help me and the team in the long run.
So during the off season, knowing that you were making this move or had already made the move, did you want to gain weight or do you feel like the weight you had was fine?
So actually, I did make a little bit of a weight change. I was a little bit heavier, being I was playing on the line a little bit more as a Raider.
Kind of like a DN.
Right. So kind of like a DN where I actually lost about 15 to 20 pounds,
Really?
and that was just so that I could be more mobile and so that I could run side to side and be able to make those plays, those long stretch plays, and even again just to be able to play throughout a whole entire game if needed. You know, so that's what I've done over the off season.
So one of the things I've noticed both during the spring and so far in camp is that they're giving you the freedom to, maybe blitz a little bit. I mean, coach wants to make things happen. I think he's one of the guys he's given a little freedom to do some things. Is that pretty cool to be able to, because I've seen you blow up some plays at the line of scrimmage a few times.
Yeah, honestly, I really enjoy the new system. You know, we're blitzing a ton more. They're giving us different looks to help us find those open gaps against the offense, and the scheme is just awesome. You know, and for some reason, I think God blessed me with just a natural instinct of being able to time up the snap. It's kind of hard to teach, because each time the quarterback's saying a different cadence.
Right, sure.
But like sometimes I get lucky, sometimes I don't, and it's just an instinct thing. And but yes, I do really enjoy the new blitzes that coach has put in, and he has let me kind of run free a little bit, blitzing those A and B gaps. So
Diego is a young pup still, but does he have a chance to be a good player here?
I think he's got an opportunity to be a really special player here. He works as hard as anybody I've ever been around. He's got great knowledge of the game, exceptional instincts, and just his work ethic is unbelievable.
So he told me that he played inside in high school. When he moved to Raider last year, that was more of a change than coming back inside. But what made you all think that, even that he was at the Raider position, well, let's get him inside. What would have made you all feel like he was better there?
Well, that all started with Coach Niumatalolo. And when we got here, it was something that he had mentioned to us. Coach Newberry had us, when he was looking at the job, look at some of the guys schematically, and I was in charge of the linebackers and looking at those guys and evaluating that position. And he was 50 last year, and I thought he really stuck out with some of the things that he could do. But I'll be honest with you, that's all Coach Niumatalolo.
Right. So the inside linebackers, I think that the responsibilities and assignments are a little bit different than what they were in Navy's true 3-4 with your defense. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I think there's some times that they're going to do some similar things, but we're going to put a lot on them. We're going to be very multiple. We want it to be simple for us and very complicated for who we're playing against. And I think our guys are doing a great job with it, and they're having fun playing it. It's an aggressive defense. We want it to look complex to who we're playing, but for us, we want to be able to pin our ears back and play really, really fast.
So an inside linebacker, is he got to go sideline to sideline? Is he got to make plays on the boundary?
He better. If not, we're in trouble. Okay. So we got to be able to run. That's probably one of the main attributes we're going to look for at that position is we've got to have a guy that's loose in the hips, can run, and then when he gets there with a little bit of boom.
And is Diego that guy?
He is that guy.
Right.
He definitely is that guy.
One of the things I've noticed in both in spring and now during August camp is that he's been given some opportunity to blitz and time counts and try to blow up things, and I've seen him do so quite often, blow up the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Can you talk about that? And how, he was talking about time and the cadence, but you got to be careful with that. If you got a guy who keeps jumping off sides because he's trying to time the cadence, he ain't no good to you.
Sure. Now, we've got to be super careful with that, and that's something we'll always evaluate week to week is just any little tip and things like that we can get on guys to give us a little bit of a head start in terms of being able to blitz and things along that nature. But he's got a good instinctual feel to that. I think at linebacker sometimes if you sit back and you read and react all day, sometimes you just need to be sped up. And when we talk about speeding somebody up, that's blitzing and just letting you go in there and puncture something. And he's fast and he's heavy and he's violent and he's physical, just like a few other guys. But he's going to be a wrecking ball, and we hope he's somebody that people are going to have to game plan around.
So in Navy's previous 3-4 defense, the inside linebackers tended to make the bulk of tackles. If you go back and look at Navy's leading tacklers for 10 years, I think 9 of 10 are inside linebackers. Is it this, and that's usually because they were kept clean. That was their job to find the ball. Other guys were designed to keep blockers off of them. Are your inside linebackers going to have to take on blocks?
They're going to have to take on blocks at times, but I mean, the goal of what we try to do is to keep those guys clean as well.
Okay.
But there's times where, you know,
guard gets
somebody's
up
going to
on
get
you.
up on you. I
Yeah.
mean, the other team gets coached too,
Right.
you know, and they practice too. So when that does happen, we've got to be able to destroy a blocker and go make a play.
Well, that's
And we're
what
going to
Diego-
try to give them those tools to be able to do that.
That's what Diego just said. You've been teaching them about how to shed a block.
That's, you know, Coach Newberry, one of the things we talk about is there's 4 core things that at each position that we've got to be really, really exceptional at. And one of those things for linebackers, we've got to do a great job destroying blockers. So we spend a good amount of our individual time understanding those things, doing those things, just so it becomes muscle memory and those guys can do those things fast without thinking. And it just is bang, bang, muscle memory. And here we go. Let's make a tackle. Let's get on to the next play.